Hey, good morning. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Doing pretty good myself, thank you. This is the old geezer Bob here. Got my coffee cup, the official Bob coffee cup. And what a game! What a Saturday! What a Saturday of college football. Last week wasn't very good. It just wasn't a very good week for college football. But this Saturday, I tell you, saw three straight Southeast Conference games. Ole Miss against Kentucky. Sooner Boomers against the Auburn Tigers, and of course the game of the this week's game of the century, Alabama against Georgia. What a game that was! What a game! Even when it was 28-0, I told my son, I said, "Hey, the game's not over yet. It's only the first quarter." And sure enough, the Bulldogs came back. And they're not called the Fighting Kirby's for nothing. But what a game! And I'm going to talk without any notes, just off the top of my head, which might be the better way to go here. And first of all, Oklahoma against Auburn. Oklahoma was being outplayed by the Tigers, or the War Eagles, or whatever they're called. Who knows, right? Until the final moments of the game, they picked off a pass with a pick six, and Oklahoma went on to win. And now Auburn's lost 3 games in a row. Every game they've lost has been at home at the once snake pit called Jordan-Hare Stadium. The voodoo magic that they've had at that stadium for so many years might have been finally destroyed by none other than Hugh Freeze. Oh, they had such hopes for Hugh Freeze. They were happy. We got Hugh Freeze. Hey, we're happy. Yeah, good luck for that, right? Anyway, what do I feel about that game? Schadenfreude. German word, obviously. And this is a petty feeling, too. This is petty. People should not enjoy Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is when you take joy and comfort in another person's misfortune. Come on, I'm a Christian. I shouldn't be doing this. But you know what? When it comes to Auburn getting beat, that's right. Lay that on thick. Schadenfreude all day, all night. Hope they never win another game in their history. But they will, though. But next week, they play Georgia. And Georgia's going to be a little bit upset about what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday was you saw an exciting game, back and forth and back. Some concerns about Alabama were met. Georgia went deep on our secondary. A big positive for that is Damani Jackson, one of the cornerbacks, has showed why he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, one of the top cornerbacks in the nation. By top, I mean in the top 3. They didn't go to his side too often. They did go to Xavier Brown, a true freshman. He's not 17 years old, but he's a true freshman. And they picked on him, and I think they scored a touchdown off of him until when Xavier Brown actually he drew 4th-year starter Carson Beck into throwing a pass that he knew he had covered all the time, and he intercepted the ball. He's a true freshman, folks. And he was in there for the whole game, and I think he did pretty well. And he's only going to get better as the season progresses, the team gets stronger, he's going to progress. So this is a lot of good. Again, though, I told you I was worried about the field goal kicking. I told you. And, he had one attempt. He made it, but it just barely made it. Just by a foot or so. And it was only from 39 yards out. Come on, you could take Will Riker, blindfold him, spin him around 4 or 5 times, set him where he's going to take his field goal, and he'd kick it straight through the goalpost. I hope it doesn't come down to where his points are needed. But yesterday, the points were needed. And for all my moaning and groaning, he did make it. And that's the bottom line. And, of course, there was Ryan Williams. And this guy's... Everybody who followed football, Alabama football, knew about him. Player of the year in the state as a sophomore. As a junior, he skipped his senior year, or he graduated sooner than he had to become eligible, signed with Alabama. But man, there are few people who would have expected him to do what he's been doing. Did you see that touchdown he made? Milroe throws a nice pass to him, and Williams makes a nice catch. The ball was not that well thrown. Any other receiver, the guy might have caught the ball. He might have been tackled at the spot, and the announcer would have said, "Oh, great catch by 17-year-old Ryan Williams." Or he might have done this. He might have caught the ball, made a spin move, gained about 5 extra yards, 10 extra yards, and the announcer would have said, "Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old freshman, with a nice catch, an additional 5-10 yards." But no, this is the Ryan Williams, the 17-year-old freshman. And it's going to be on YouTube everywhere, these clips, ESPN.com, whatever. You're going to see it everywhere. He catches the ball. He makes a nice catch. He does a nice spin move. Then he does another spin move. Then he darts between a would-be tackler, and he's off to the races. He might not be the fastest guy in the team. Believe it or not, Milroe might be the fastest guy in the team. But one thing that Williams has, the 17-year-old freshman has, is football speed. Is when he gets the ball, he's usually moving when he gets the ball. He's got that quick acceleration. He's gone. If he has a step on you, he's gone. He's only going to get better, and he is a true freshman, and he is only 17 years old. Yep, I tell you, hey, Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler, when it comes to saying he's a 17-year-old freshman, you got nothing on me, pal. Amazing yesterday's game, right? Every time the guy caught a pass, either Kirk or Herb. 17 years old. Oh, did you know that during the entire game, you're going to switch a little bit to politics, not much, but it tells you where ABC is at. I think they showed President Trump only once during the game. That was a quick 4 or 5 second shot of him. If it was Taylor Swift there, it would have been the Taylor Swift show interrupted by a football game. If it would have been Kamala Harris, the same thing, right? Nah, they didn't even show him being greeted by the crowd. They didn't show the outstanding applause that he had. Nothing like that. Okay, so I can go on and on about that game. I think if you're an Alabama fan, when it all comes down to it, you have to come out feeling positive. As far as Georgia's concerned, I don't know. They had what we thought was a speed bump against Kentucky, which they overcame. They didn't overcome this. This was a major hurdle, and we'll see what happens. They still got to face Texas, I think. That's going to be a tough game. Okay, talk about speed bumps. Let's talk about Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a speed bump against Kentucky, and they could not overcome it. They were not supposed to lose that game, but they did. That gives Ole Miss 1 loss. And they also have another tough team on the schedule. I'm not sure who it is. Doesn't matter. They should wind up with maybe... That might be the only loss of the year. 2 the most, which should make them ready for the 12-team playoff. Every team is going to have a speed bump. Alabama had one that was USF. They overcame that speed bump. Ole Miss had one, a game that they should have won, or they were predicted to win, and they lost. Notre Dame faced a speed bump in Northern Illinois. They couldn't overcome that, and they lost. And there'll be other speed bumps along the way. Look at the schedule here. Okay. Everybody's got their top 10. These pundits here on these sports shows, they'll give you their top 10. And then at the end of the top 10, they'll say, well, it doesn't matter who's in the top 10. What matters is who are the 12 teams at the end of the season. That's what counts. So I'm not going to waste my time by giving you the top 10. Although I would think Alabama should be number 1. But that's okay if they're not. It doesn't bother me. So I'm not going to spend my time giving you the top 10 and then saying, it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's the top 12. So here are my top 12, okay? Remember now, the top 12, the first 5 teams are in. And they are the 4 conferences, the 4 major conferences, and 1 team from the group of 5. So I got, can you see this right here? It's tough to see this in my, I got to get a better graphics department here. Anyway, here they are, right? Still can't. Okay, this sounds better here. Okay, in the Southeast, I got Alabama winning their conference. I've got Ohio State winning their conference. That's the Big Ten, of course. Or the Big 16, wherever it is. You got Clemson winning the ACC. Miami had a speed bump, but they were helped along that speed bump by the ref, or Virginia Tech would have beat them. BYU is 5-0. BYU just might be that sleeper team. I've got them in the Big 12. Big 12 is a very competitive conference. And for my Power 4, I got UNLV. They're the team that lost that quarterback who decided he wasn't being paid what he was worth, or he was upset because the verbal contract wasn't honored. Hey, welcome to the world, right? It don't mean a thing unless you sign that thing, right? And they sign it. Doesn't matter what the coach said. Coach could say, hey, I'll give you half of Carson City if you sign with us. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they won their game 49-something. So good for UNLV, and they make and they get the automatic bid here. From 5 to 12, this is what counts now. This is what makes up the rest of the playoff teams. And they are going to be, I've got UNLV again, right? Because they don't get a bye. It's UNLV at 5th, Texas 6, Tennessee 7, Oregon 8, Penn State 9. I got Notre Dame at 10. You're saying, hey, Bob, how can they be 10? Because I'll tell you why. Look at that schedule they got. USC is not the team we thought they might have been. I never thought they were going to be all that good, but many people did. USC is not the team that many people thought they would be. So I think they're going to beat USC, and they're going to end the season with just 1 loss, and that was to Northern Illinois. At number 11, I got Georgia. That's right. I'll go into that a little bit longer. And at 12, I got Ole Miss. That was a tough one. But I had Ole Miss over there because I think Georgia's going to lose another game. That will give them 2 losses. Ole Miss is going to lose a game. That will give them 2. Miami should go undefeated until they get beat by the Clemson Tigers. So that'll give them 1 loss. However, I think a 2-loss Southern Conference team should take precedent over a 1-loss ACC team. That's where the hubbub is going to start. Just give me a couple of seconds here. And Penn State just did beat Illinois, but good for Penn State because Illinois doesn't have a bad team. And Indiana is 5-0. You believe this? That's what the transfer portal has done. This is why college football is becoming more and more like pro football. This is why it's tough to find a real good running back who will gain 100 yards, 115 yards or whatever. Because these teams, they get these defensive linemen or linebackers from other programs that are essentially better than what they have at the moment, and they bolster up their defenses. From what I've seen, the best running back I've seen so far is the guy from Auburn, Jacques Hunter. And why they didn't give him the ball near the end of the game, only Hugh Freeze knows. But you know what? That's what I say. And next week they play Georgia. You don't think Georgia's going to be upset? And they play at Georgia too. That should be interesting. Too bad. Anyway, and one thing too about Ryan Williams. The guy's fantastic, of course. Even when he had that pass, I think he tipped it once, then he tipped it again, then he tipped it a third time, and he made the catch and he gained a few yards after that. Remember, he's a 17-year-old freshman. All right, good. I would like you all to, if you get the opportunity, check out some YouTube tapes of David Palmer. There's not too many of them, but David Palmer was right on a par with Ryan Williams, or vice versa. The guy was fantastic. Palmer was hindered, I think, by the football mindset of that time. Yeah, he had a somewhat conservative coach in Gene Stallings. And the bottom line is this, they didn't know how to use him. He was a quarterback in high school. And one thing he can do better than Ryan Williams, he can throw the ball. Now, a lot of times you put this running back as into Wildcat, right? And you know the Wildcat just means hike the ball to the new quarterback. He's going to get run. He's going to run, and he'll get stuff about after running 2 or 3 yards because everybody knows he's going to run. Now, Palmer could throw the ball. So check out the YouTube clips of David Palmer. Number 2. And it's no coincidence that Ryan Williams, I think, paying homage to the great David Palmer, the original Deuce, is also wears number 2. Next week, haven't looked at the schedule for next week. We play Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt should be interesting. It's not the Vanderbilt of old, but they're still not Georgia of today or anything like that. And I don't know who. Oh, yeah, Auburn plays Georgia. And as far as Texas is concerned, folks, I tell you, everybody wants Archie Manning as quarterback. All right. Who has Archie Manning faced? He's been great, whoever he's faced. But I think you don't bench Quinn. If Quinn Ewers is healthy, you play him. You play Quinn Ewers. He's your quarterback. Pure and simple. And Brett Venables, the coach of Oklahoma, made a statement yesterday against the Barn. He put in a freshman quarterback. He benched his previous quarterback, who was a 5-star out of high school. And he stuck with him. Even the guy was sucking eggs through most of the game. He stuck with him. Another coach. And I was saying to myself, come on, you got to switch quarterbacks. He stuck with him the entire team and the entire game. He made a statement to his team and to his quarterback and to the true freshman. You're my quarterback. You're the team's quarterback. You're the team's quarterback for this year and for the future. We're going to win with you and we're going to lose with you. But I'm not going to play this a shuffle game with quarterbacks here. One in, one out. You're the quarterback. So this old ham and egger here enjoyed the weekend. Had a good weekend. I made a few bucks. Not too much, but I don't bet too much, right? Just give myself intro. We have bad bets. I was 8-7 this week. Got up to a bad start. Gee whiz, that Washington, they shot themselves in the foot every single time, but got handed off to Rutgers, though. That Greg Schiano is a good coach. He's good. And you heard it first. Once Napier gets fired, I think Schiano is going to be contacted. Whether or not he'll leave, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And I sure as heck wouldn't be surprised if he takes a job. Michigan couldn't cover against Minnesota. This is the Minnesota that gave 34 points to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Nah, they're not going anywhere. Notre Dame won. They beat Louisville with 6.5. I didn't bet on that game. If I did, I would have taken Louisville. I would have bought a point. That would have made it 7. The only bad, stupid bet I can see me making is when I picked Oklahoma State. I told you before, Oklahoma State's one of those teams, along with Houston, along with Louisville and Purdue, who I say I'm never going to bet again. And when I do, and if I lose, I say, oh, what the heck was I thinking? Bob, you never learn. And no, I never learned, and K-State whooped them badly. And speaking of Purdue, Nebraska took them. Nebraska beat them. They beat them good. A game that might be interesting. I don't think it's going to have any playoff connotations. Who knows, though, is Rutgers is going to Nebraska. That should be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. Just as when the Fighting Illini went out there and they won in overtime. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'll be Illinois against... it'll be Rutgers against Nebraska. Clemson took care of Stanford. Clemson's coming along nicely. I had Arizona with 11 points, and they upset Utah. Nah, Utah's not going anywhere. I had Oregon getting 25.5. I had UCLA getting 25.5. Oregon beat them by 21, but I got 25. And UCLA is a bad team. Bad team. Anyway, that's it for now. I could go on and on and on, but I would just ramble even more than I have been doing. So we'll talk more about stuff later on. I just want to get this out there today and see what you're all thinking about. And hope you enjoyed this Saturday. I hope you enjoyed this little podcast here. I know I sure did. I enjoy it. And, keep healthy, right? Every day is a blessing. Believe it or not, every day is a bona fide blessing. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. I heard about this poor woman on the news. Beautiful woman. Had 2 cute kids. She went into the doctor about something, and she had cancer, and they were treating her. And she was taking chemo. Then she goes back in again, and the doctor says, "Oh, we found you have Cushing's syndrome." What's Cushing's syndrome? I never knew what it was. It was some sort of debilitating disease that's even worse than cancer. It comes into only maybe 0.00%, 0.001% of the people. And the doctor gave her 3 months to live. So she said, in these 3 months, I'm going to spend all my time with my kids and prepare itself and see what's happening. Oh, I hate to be such a downer. But the point is just to enjoy every day. Every day is a blessing. Hey, I get depressed. You get depressed. And that's why doing stuff like this for me helps. Getting involved in college football. I was screaming yesterday's game. Oh, when Xavier Brown had that interception, I went nuts. Why not? I'm getting outside the moment, outside the world for a second, for maybe 3 hours. I got my mute button. That helps, right? So for that period of time, all the bullshit that's going on in the world, all the bullshit that might be happening in my life and all the troubles and strife, I forget about it. You can't take everything with you. What they say, a businessman or cops, for example. Person asks a cop who's got a tough job, how do you do it? How do you do it? And they say, I don't bring my work home with me. It's easier to say. Everything is easier to say. But it's harder to do. But you can do it, though. So if I watch a football game, if I run off at the mouth like I'm doing here, there's a purpose to it. And be safe. Oh. What a world. God bless all you young people out there. I do mean it. And stay vertical. If you take care of the first two, then God will take care of the third, right? God will decide that. Anyway, I gotta leave this on a good note here. Alabama won. Yay for Alabama. They beat the Georgia Kirbys. Kirby now has a new daddy. He got rid of his old daddy, retired. Nick Saban got tired of spanking him so often. He said, oh, my arm's getting tired of spanking a Kirby all the time. So he retired. They got a new coach. All the Bulldog fans were saying, yay, yay, we got rid of Nick Saban. Bye. Bye, Daddy. Bye, Daddy. But guess what? You all got a new daddy. That's right. And Coach DeBoer is going to be around for a long time. As far as Auburn's concerned, do I feel bad about him? Yeah, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Auburn got beat. Schadenfreude. I love it. So roll tide and hope to see you all again.